Hey guys, so I have here a Ryobi RM300e ride-on electric mower. I picked this up from Home Depot about a year ago, and it's been really great. It's great on hills, it's great on everything, but at about a year, the battery was only able to do about half of what it could do before. And so I contacted Ryobi. They sent me out some new replacement batteries free of charge, which was great. Uh, but the only issue I ran into is trying to figure out how to actually change them. Uh, the There are a lot of videos right now about the larger battery model. That I think it's the 400 or something like that. And the issue is that that one seems to be a lot different to access the batteries than this one. And I couldn't find any videos on this. So I just figured I'd shoot a quick one just in case this helps anybody. It's a lot different, unless maybe I'm doing it way wrong, but I don't know. I couldn't figure out any other way to do it. So with the larger models, with the bigger battery capacity, you can just, there's a tray that slides out here to access the batteries. And like, I don't know if you can see it, but here on this model, the 300e, this one's welded in, so you can't slide that out. And even the PDF, the guidebook for this one that comes with it, it must have been for the larger model because it didn't actually explain how to get to this. So, for instance, the other one, you can actually access the bolt. There's a long bolt that goes through the center there to remove this guy, which I just have this propping open the plastic thing there. And on this one, you can't get to it through the little hole, the access hole there. So you have to pretty much disassemble all this plastic cladding here to even unbolt that. And then, like I said, you can't just slide it out like you can on the other model. So the only way I could find to access these batteries was to, disassemble all this cladding here. And the issue I ran into is, I don't know if this is my issue or a manufacturing thing, but I don't know if you can see here, I had to just slice these things because I could not get these bolts out. I was just trying to use like a little Allen bolt, which is probably not the ideal tool. Maybe I should have used like an impact driver or something like that, but they had Loctite on them and I could not get them out without just tearing apart the plastic. And it wasn't just those two, it also happened on some other ones here. That's why, see, I couldn't get these one out. This one actually stripped on me. So rather than like take this whole thing off, that's why I have it bent up like this. And that's why I have this metal bar. This was actually what keeps the battery secure. You bolt that down, but I just have it stuck in there now, propping this up so it's not falling down on me. But yeah, I couldn't get the whole thing removed without, taking out those bolts. So I just have it propped up, and that seems to be working okay. And now I can get to it. Now I can get to these batteries, and the next step's just going to be taking these old ones out and putting the new ones in I guess the reverse order. And yeah, it was great of Ryobi to send me the replacements. Like, yeah, I would not if I wanted to buy them because it's only been a year, and I feel like they should last a little longer than that. But like I said, this is not as easy as the larger model. So in retrospect, I wish I would have forked up the other couple $100 and gotten the bigger model, but I didn't know, and I couldn't find any videos on how to change them like this, so I figured I'd just post this quick in case it's helpful to anybody. So yeah, this is the RM300e, and I don't have any video here of what it looked like before I detached all these wires. You can see, like, this is from the charging spot and the yeah, but I think I have a still photo of what that looked like before I detached all the wires. Okay, so I undid all those wires, all the connectors, and you can see what it looks like now that these
for the lead acid batteries have been taken out. This is what it looks like in there. So I'm just gonna clean that out, get the grass out of there, and then put in these 4 new ones and put the new wires on, connect the wires, the old wires. And hopefully after connecting all these guys back onto it the way it was, should work. We'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to show also a better idea of what was going on here. So like these guys, you try to, I don't know if you can see, take these guys off, and they were just spinning in the back. I tried to even get some needle nose pliers or something in there to try to grab the back of it, but it's not a normal nut or anything, so I couldn't really get them to stop spinning. And you can see here, they just tore the plastic apart, and you know, I couldn't get them out without just slicing the plastic there. And it's not pretty, but once I get this all back together, hopefully it should just run and we'll be okay. So it's not the biggest deal, but it would be nicer if this had that slide out tray like the other model does. That seems like a pretty useful feature now that I'm having to deal with all this.
Okay, so now I've got the new batteries in that Ryobi sent to me. If I can find them, I'll try to put a link to those. And then I just reconnected all the connectors in the reverse order that I took them off. And I'm just down to this last one. I just wanted to point out that when you're connecting these bolts in there, the thing you want to do, the thing you want to watch out for is to not make contact with the frame, or you'll ground out there and get a spark. So be cautious of that. But otherwise, it's been pretty simple. You just connect them just the way they were, and we'll see in a moment once I get all these connectors back on if it starts up. I just figured I'd point out too that the batteries do have these covers on them, I guess to probably protect them from rubbing against here. So they just go on the top there. And then once you have those on, you can put this back on. Like I said, I'm just using that to wedge this up here. But once I put that back on the center here, this long bolt will go right through the center and get this all sucked together. Okay, I've got all the other ones attached now. I've got the little metal bar bolted back on. I don't know if you can see, there's this other guy here you had to screw on. And you probably can't see it, but towards the front there was another one I had to screw on to that frame. And then the last thing, now that I'm pressing this back down, is to connect these to the charger port here. There's 3 cables that clip together here that you have to clip together before you start bolting this plastic cladding back down. And we'll see how that goes. We've got some visitors here while we're doing this, coming to watch us work. Hey fellas and ladies. All right, back to work. So I've got the cladding back on. It actually was not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, you can see some of the stuff isn't perfectly aligned, but it worked. And yeah, actually not as bad as I thought. So, you know, once you've got this seat back connected and all the wires connected, you can see you could turn it on and it's got a full charge, and that's the way they came from the factory. So it did work, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, so I guess the major issue I ran into was just getting these bolts out. You can see I haven't put the back panel on yet. That was the hardest part I had to deal with. So maybe it was just a matter of those being over torqued from the factory or something like that. Yeah, but getting those out was a pain. Getting this cladding off is kind of a pain, but I mean, once you get it off, it's not too bad getting it back on. But even still, I think I next time would recommend spending a little extra money and and getting the one that's a little bit easier to service yourself, because eventually these batteries do die, and maybe at some point it'll be worth putting sorry. At some point, maybe it'll be worth putting some lithium batteries in. I'm not sure if that's even something people do, but I know the lead acid don't seem to last as long as the lithium in my experience. With the electric cars anyway, the batteries, the 12 volts always the one that goes dead. So yeah, maybe that'd be maybe something worth looking into in the future, is putting some lithium batteries in here if this keeps going dead like this. The only thing left to do is just to put this back on, which I don't know, maybe I'll have to put some zip ties or something to keep that on, since only the 2 of the bolts will work anymore. So I know I didn't show every step in this process. A lot of it I did off camera, but you know, hopefully this is pretty useful to you if you're like me and you bought this and you need to swap the batteries out, which eventually you're probably going to have to do. But yeah, so there's some steps I didn't show, but you'll figure it out. It's really not that bad. And all in all, it's been a really good mower. I've been happy with it. But like I said, I'd probably buy the 480 or whatever the next step up is if I were to do it again. But yeah, if you're like me and you bought this one, hope this helps you. Thanks for watching.